Okay, we're back. It's been quite a while. There's been some illness,
Some illness, some too much busyness.
yeah, but and plus the Christmas season. So we're back, and we are going to be talking about for the next few times ideas surrounding spirituality. And spirit might imply the idea of soul, and so we're going to talk about this a priori that we've named already in this class as soul. Is there a soul?
Who has a soul, if
Yeah.
there is one?
And what do you do if you got one? How do you
Yeah.
take care of it?
Can you lose it?
Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah. So this is where we're going to be going for the next few classes. So keep your questions coming in, and we'll be moving on. Thank you very much.
All right, so the goal of this class, okay, is to make us think of the soul for perhaps the first time. Have we thought about the soul? What is it? Since it is an a priori,
Are you born with it?
right? Can you gain it? Can you
Uh,
lose it?
can you improve it?
Right? Why do we even have one if we do have one? What's its purpose? Like what does it do for us in the living realm, on earth? And does it have anything actually to do with salvation?
Yeah. And that's the big word, soteriology. And the
Hmm.
reason we're introducing the idea of soul right now at the very beginning is because we already studied salvation or that soteriology as part of our class. Most religions think that it's not so much our body or the community that needs saving, but it's the individual. And so we think about individuals with individual souls. That is an individual soul.
Hmm.
And is that not also imaginary too? What if there's a collective soul? Can we have we ever
Right?
thought like that?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. I mean, is
or
there one that we all share?
or the soul of a place?
Right? I mean, I've been to places that feel like it has a soul.
Yeah,
I mean, you've been to the Taj Mahal, so have I.
yeah,
That location felt like it had a soul. But even outside of the man-made stuff, El Capitan, which is out in Yosemite, I've stood at the base of that, and that rock has a soul.
yeah. Or you get people in a particular place, like a sacred piece of architecture
Hmm.
or a El Capitan,
Hmm.
and people go silent. Why? What is that? What's going on there? So that's what we're going to be about today. Stuff that we cannot prove, but stuff that we could probably have some resonance in our own experiences about.
Hmm.
What does the soul have to do with these things? First, thriving and flourishing. These are general words for spiritual growth and just well being overall.
Right. Well, how about wholeness? What does the soul have to do with wholeness? Like, which refers to a state of being complete and healthy, a key component of a thriving spiritual life.
Yeah. And you are in the healthcare business. How
Hmm.
much does body wholeness refer to or correlate with spiritual wholeness?
Right. And vice versa.
Yeah. Then the next was, what does soul have to do with inner peace and serenity? You know, those states of profound calm and absence of mental stress, which indicate that you got a healthy spiritual condition.
Mhm.
And if you don't have inner peace and serenity, you have maybe a sense that you're unhealthy spiritually.
Which brings us to the idea of well-being, encompassing physical, emotional, spiritual health, implying a positive and thriving state. I mean, we look at psychology, or like I always try to touch on, recovery.
Hmm.
The idea of that serenity, that feeling of wholeness that helps you in hard times when somebody might relapse into something that they don't want to be doing.
Yeah. And we want to emphasize that this soul is something that is grown, GROWN.
Mhm.
We don't, it doesn't groan on you, but but it's something that is growing.
Mhm.
As you practice it, it grows. So the next one is, what does soul have to do with vitality, the state of being strong and active, your energy? Some days you feel really energetic, right?
Mhm.
And some days not so
You
much.
don't even want to get out of bed.
Right.
Yeah.
So what does the soul have to do with that state?
One of the most intriguing aspects of it to me is this next one, enlightenment. Often implies a state of advanced spiritual knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, a form of spiritual thriving. I mean, we look at becoming one with,
Mhm.
and knowing the answers,
Yeah.
those answers that lead us to whatever is next.
Yeah. And most religions have a state of enlightenment,
Hmm.
especially the East Asian religions. But even in Christianity, the word enlightenment is used as a way of saying this person's got some knowledge. Okay.
Yep.
So, what does the soul have to do with fulfillment? And that is our sense of achieving purpose and satisfaction in life. And often these stem from having some kind of spiritual engagement or some kind of spiritual handshaking with the world, a world that hurts, a world that is maybe unhealthy, but you're trying to bring it to health, a world that is unjust and you're trying to bring justice to it. So the sense of fulfillment, we know that the world is not as it could be. So you participate in these things, these activities, these spiritualities that says we're going to help fulfill the world that is yearning to come.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. And then a word that I think kind of transcends all religions is the idea of grace.
Mhm.
That divine favor, but also elegance, a sense of effortlessness that suggests a life in balance and thriving. I mean, do we live in a place of grace? Do we give grace to other people?
Mhm. Mhm.
Do we
Yeah.
marry someone named Grace?
Mhm. Ha 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 ha. So, so in other words, this spirituality was something we've already introduced when we did the class on rituals, because ritual is the central word inside of spirituality. So when we practice the faith in a ritualistic kind of way, does that not also lead towards a sense of growing in spirituality and well-being, all these words that we have on this page?
Hmm.
So I think so, and that's why we're talking about these things, because we want to say these uh, actions of the souls are also actions that can be ritualized. Spirituality is a big topic, and so let's look at some general synonyms for spirituality. First, they include the idea of holiness. And in holy, say something is holy, we mean it is set apart. We practice in that which comes to us from without or maybe from within, but we feel like it's set apart as something really special. So we treat it special. And we can treat that specialness with the idea of devotion, being devoted, allied with, faithful to something, a movement, a community, a God, these kind of things. Piety is another synonym for spirituality. And when you think of piety, you think of someone who is an obvious practitioner of their faith, not a hypocrite, but someone who, like a monk or a priest or a pastor, an imam, someone who practices a sense of the religious nature of their world all the time. In mysticism, oh boy, we could do a whole course just on mysticism, but it's where you feel or sense the oneness of everything. Everything is a whole, WH, whole, and you feel yourself not as a two-ness of it, but as a part of that one. So that's mysticism. With transcendence, well, the opposite of transcendence, or the associated word with transcendence, is eminence. Eminence means something is within, and transcendence is without. And so with transcendence, you get the idea of something that cannot be defined in words. Transcendence is a realm that has no ties, no map, no way to locate it with words. It's just silence is the best you can do. So that sense of awe, that you might feel something that just silences your soul. With something is sacred, we set it apart in our brains. We make something holy in our brains, our minds, our imaginations, and we say something is more sacred than other things or other people. A place could become sacred. We could think about sacred people. In fact, we'll do a mini class soon on what are some sacred people. So things that we feel are set apart as more than just mundane, more than just normal, but super normal, or more light is shown on it or comes out through it. And then just the word of religiousness. What you're practicing in your spirituality is your religion itself. The word soul comes from the word psyche in Greek. And that means for us today that something or someone who is guided by love or a spirit or a consciousness to perform a certain task. From the word psyche, we get the words psychology or psychic. So this is the realm that which we'll be in this class today. Now, it's thought that there are different kinds of souls. On the screen here, you'll see that plants may have a vegetative soul that influences how and when they reproduce or how they grow. Animals, and we know this from our pets as well as other animals throughout the world, that animals may have a soul of sensitivity, and they use that for mobility and sensation. And we say that our pets and our animals are quite smart; they're aware. Humans are the only ones who say that there is a rational soul within us, and that gives us an idea of thought and reflection.
Everything has a history.
And if you don't know the history of something, you may not know the full extent. So we look at the history of word soul.
So psyche in ancient Greek is spirit, life, or consciousness.
Yeah. And Socrates thought that to have a soul meant that you were actually alive. You were ensouled. So psyche was the only thing he thought that was indivisible. Therefore, he thought that it was eternal. You can read one of his conversations about that.
Right.
Okay.
So soul is the seat of logos or reason. And interesting, why don't you think about critical thinking?
Yeah. So we kind of say that there is a soul by saying if you have critical thinking, then you're using your logos, you're
Right.
losing your reason, and therefore you're losing your soul. You're using your soul.
Yeah. Hopefully not losing
Not
it.
losing it. Yeah. You can't lose it.
Yeah.
But when you critically think, you're gaining your soul is the idea here.
Almost building it, like strengthening it.
Yes, it's like a muscle.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when one exercises the reason, one is doing the most divine work. Like reason is the holy of holies.
Yeah, and there was a faith among the founders of the United States who were into deism, and then when you used in deism, when you used your reason, you were doing the thing that God's self was doing.
Right.
You were doing the actual thing of God.
Yeah.
So when you exercise your reason, you're doing the most divine work possible.
Right. You're examining one's life, or you're being the most human that one can be.
Wow. Okay.
Because if you think about it, let's ask that question. Animals have souls. I think animals have souls.
All right.
Do they exercise reason?
I don't know.
I mean, if you think about it, like
In their own
way,
in their own species way, yes, they do.
yeah.
I mean, they don't get outside that reason. We can lose that as humans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or we can expand on it.
Yeah.
But I don't think animals can.
Okay.
I don't know.
This is controversial stuff for many people. Of course, they'll say that their pets are human.
Yeah.
So soulful that they're human. And that's okay. But the idea of soul that we have here from Greek is different from Hebrew thought, which thought that with the idea of nephesh, which is in a Hebrew word you find in Genesis 1, which God creates human beings as nephesh, that is a living soul, translated in the King James, and that soul includes body and mind. Okay.
Yep.
And to make a third thing, the soul.
Right. And so then this is also different from like a Buddhist thought.
Yeah.
No self.
Yeah. Or anatta in Buddhism. That there is no personality that you can maintain, because to maintain your personality is to cling to something, and you don't want to cling to self.
Right. But most religious worldviews assume there is a soul.
Yeah. So this is what we mean in this class. This is what we mean. Try telling someone that their deceased grandmother or pet or horse is not in heaven as a soul. Yeah. You got a lot of resistance there.
Yeah. Well, also try telling someone that a place holds sacredness or has a soul element to it or inside it.
Yeah. Or some places soulless.
Right. Like, is there, are there properties or places that just doesn't have a soul? It's almost dare I say, evil.
Yeah. So it's kind of popular to use soul as a placeholder word for all that we want to think about, but have no evidence for.
Hmm. Yep. So thus, soul is one of those a prioris that we talked about earlier in our course.
Yeah, that's right. So this is Mark, and I want to talk about my teacher. I had this guy for 3 courses in graduate school. And what Cornel West has said is that when you want to talk about being human, you got to talk about death. So he asked, what does it really mean to be this featherless, bipedal, that is two-footed, linguistically conscious creatures born between urine and feces, knowing that one day our bodies will be the culinary delight of terrestrial worms? And then he goes further, deeper, and right to the heart. Who are we going to be in the meantime? Because no one gets out of time and space alive.
It's true.
Do we have the courage really to remove the masks and wrestle with who we are in this time and space? And to do this bold print, bold italic print right here, who are you going to be in the meantime, all the way down to wrestling with who we are in this time and space? That is soul work. So here's some commentary. We got 3 slides of commentary on Cornel West, my professor. And he would say that this quote by Socrates usually gets translated as "the unexamined life is not worth living," and that's good translation. However, there is a line in 38a of the Apology in Anthropo, which gets some scholars, including my own teacher Cornel West, thinking that gets to an idea that an unreflective life is not a human life. More importantly, what is translated here as worth living is just one word in Greek, biotos, to be lived or worth living. A concise English equivalent might be livable. So you might say the unexamined life is not livable for a person. And when you realize that, that is soul work, guys. This quote comes not too far from the end of Socrates' Apology, which is not a word for I'm sorry, but is both late Latin and a Greek word that means a formal written defense of one's opinions or conducts. As you may know, Socrates was on trial for his life. He was that unruly gadfly that kept on buzzing around the body politic of ancient Greece, insinuating that official Greece was in love with bad gods and wasn't doing educational justice to its young people. Apparently, this became a capital crime about which, or against which, Socrates was judged guilty. But all he was trying to do was doing his soul work, calling spades spades. More commentary here. Earlier in Socrates' life, the oracle at Delphi had told him that he was the wisest man alive, but all Socrates knew was that he knew nothing. So every morning he punched that thought, that he knew nothing. He punched that thought as the reset button for his life and the life of his mind. It kept him honest. It kept his life uncluttered. It kept his ego, that most dangerous organ we can develop, on life support. So on trial for his life, Socrates defended a simple way of being. Just tell the truth. No compromise, no artifice, just unvarnished, no secret truth. Especially those truths we hide from ourselves, oh
Mm,
counselor.
right.
Um, for it is the addict who is the consummate liar,
Absolutely.
who tells that small lie, which is how it all begins. A lie to the self. It's okay. It'll do. I can get by with good enough. Nobody will notice. It's all right. And I can start keeping my secrets.
Yep.
Can I get a
And
witness?
and the main thing of that being I don't have a problem,
Yeah.
which can be translated into any number of things, not just I don't have a problem, but I don't have to blank. I
Yeah.
don't think blank.
Yeah.
You lie to yourself for one thing,
Yeah.
and then just like an outward lie,
Yeah.
one small thing snowballs into a bunch.
Yeah.
You lie to yourself one thing, you start lying to yourself about everything.
And this is maybe how we, if we have them, kill our souls.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
not just
No.
injure,
Yeah.
but kill.
Yeah.
It starts with injuring. Final commentary here is that Socrates, like Jesus, like Gandhi, like Malcolm X, like Martin Luther King Jr. after him, he showed how, with the forfeiture of his life, how the most dangerous person to a nation of liars, can you say United States today, is the one who refuses to lie, who refuses to go along and get along, who just sticks their finger up in the wind and go the way the popular wind is going. By his or her very lives, they interrogate a culture of lying. Likewise, the most dangerous person to the others is the liar. They'll do anything. They will, I think, eventually be willing to put on a ring of invisibility and go dark so that no personal responsibility comes their way. Me, I'm innocent.
I didn't do anything.
I'm not a racist. You know, my grandparents may have had slaves, but me, no,
I didn't
I'm
do
not
that.
racist. Imagine that you could get away with Plato's ring of Gyges, which makes you invisible. What would you do with it? All evil starts with a small lie, which is a lie to the self. And as we lie, we tell others' lies. We more easily tolerate other people's lies.
Because we see ourselves in them.
Exactly. And we don't want to upset the apple cart.
Right.
So we become a conspiracy of liars, a true liars club. This is if we build ourselves up and we would build these high structures in the air. They look pretty, well made, but in our basements, at our cores, perhaps we've made a devil's bargain, a Faustian wager that no one knows. So to me, the most honest thing that I can tell someone is, would I buy a used car from this person? Or would someone want to buy a used car for myself?
Right.
Because that is the ultimate test, I think, in America's society today.
Sure.
Is how trustworthy we get.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you buy a product like a car
Yeah.
from this person? And I like that would you buy it from yourself idea, because something that we do in counseling all the time is that introspection.
Yeah.
And this is introspection 101.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you trust yourself with the very same thing that you want to be trusted for?
Right.
So the soul has come to mean these kind of things, something incorporeal. That is no flesh, no body.
Right. Right. Something that's invisible. You can't see it.
Yeah.
You don't know it's there.
It's immortal.
It's an animator of stuff, like your material body.
Yeah.
Your human form.
Yeah. So when we die, the material body's left, but this animator, that soul, is gone somewhere else.
Right.
It could be your consciousness.
Yeah, that's true. Could be the connector, the religio.
Yeah, which is Latin for religio, means the connector,
right,
of stuff or visible world with the divine or invisible worlds.
Right. Or this world and the next world.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Yes. And how are you living into that world already? So a common worldview in Western religions comes straight out of Plato. There's 3 components to the souls.
One is the horse of appetite and cravings, showing up as the drive for pleasure.
Yeah, and this may even include Freud's pleasure principle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then you got the horse of passions or spirit, the best of which is courage.
Yep. Or how about the coach driver, representing logic that governs, tempers, tames horses 1 and 2.
Yeah, because if you're all pleasure, you're just dissipating your wealth.
Right.
If you're all courage, then you're going to be a jerk to everybody else.
Yeah, because you're going to hate your own existence.
Yeah, I mean, so you're just be all dressed up in your Superman suit the whole time.
All the time.
Okay, so you need a coach driver. That is your brain, your soul, that governs and tempers and tames those 2 horses. We're not going to show this slide for very long, but I just want you guys to read through it, how different faiths and religions around the world understand the soul.
But also look at the differences.
Yeah.
But then also look at the similarities in all of them.
Yeah. Okay. Pause this and look through that and see where you are. So in a very real sense, the idea of soul means you got a battleground within your life. And it's a battleground in this life, not the next life, but it's this life. See that Cornel West quote again.
So are those who are ignorant of who they are ever in the right job for them?
Yeah.
Right? Do they ever make right relationship decisions? And people who are ignorant of who they are they dangerous?
Let's say yes.
Yeah.
You don't want them on your team.
Right.
If your team is about some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want them on your team.
Absolutely not.
And I'm not trying to make it cheap here, but if you don't know who you are, then last thing you should be doing is getting married.
That's true. Very true.
I didn't mean to make that personal.
Yeah, thanks. March. Here we go. Yeah.
So if we don't have a soul, how else will we do our necessary virus scans?
Right. I mean, how else do we hack life instead of being hacked by life?
Yeah. So a good question to ask is, just who or what will you die for? Will you die for your toys?
Yeah.
Your Maseratis?
right? For your status.
You die for your country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right?
So just who is in charge of my life?
Yeah.
Do I get to say this is soul work, folks?
And back there where it says, how else will we hack life instead of being hacked by life,
Yeah.
makes me think of practice your critical thinking or become someone's bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. That's a nice tagline. We ought to use
Thanks.
that.
Yeah, I mean, we should think about it.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, soul is also kind of battleground for the next life.
Yep.
That is, we are taught, I don't know if this is taught well, but we're taught that we are discrete individuals with souls that, without our express permission, were integrated into our bodies before we emerged on this planet. And they will outegrate, to coin a new phrase, from our bodies after our deaths.
So this world, this life, is a testing ground for our souls.
Yeah. And what we do now determines the next life. And that's
Right.
almost in every religion.
Everything. Yep.
So it's soul work. But where is the soul during our lives? Is it behind our eyes, somewhere between the ears? Can you point to your soul?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you map that one out, folks?
Yeah, exactly. Can you look at a picture and say, "Oh, there it is"?
Yeah.
Does the body have anything at all to do with it?
Yeah. And back in when I was teaching a lot, people could come to me and said, "Have you heard of this religion? Have you heard of that religion?" You know, and most of the time I had, or sometimes I had not. But I always ask them one question, and that is, what does that particular religion or faith or cult, what is it? How does it deal with the body? Does it like your body? Does it like female bodies? Can it handle bodies with color?
Mm-hmm.
Can it handle bodies of different sexualities?
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, can it handle one body with the same type of body,
What does that mean?
like male, male, female,
Ah,
female?
oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Our religions teach us that what we do with our bodies in this life has something to do with the next life. So I just want to expand that idea of what does the body have to do with it.
So questions or thoughts so far?
Hmm. Well, class, can you see how soul can lead to dualistic thinking? This life, next life,
Right.
males versus females,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people of color versus those with
Out color.
yeah, yeah. So it can lead to in groups and out groups.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that's bad soul work.
Right.
Um, they can lead us into these a priori worldviews, that we think are true, but maybe with critical thinking they're not so true. But they lead us into this either or kind of idea of good versus evil,
Or especially right now in our current climate, the us versus them.
yeah, or heaven versus hell.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got more of these dichotomies: this life, next life. They just proliferate. So this idea of a soul gives us a sense of or a taste for something that is maybe unseen.
Yep. Or something that is the next life, or the next few minutes,
Yeah,
or the next infinite lifetimes.
yeah, yeah. So the future. It can also give us a sense or taste for what is authentic living. Because if you are going to live in the hereafter, folks, do you have to do you neglect the here now?
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know that we're going to introduce a song later on. This world is not my home.
Mm.
Really? Is that the spirituality we want to have
Right.
as we abandon the earth for heaven? Are we going to abandon the ecology, the natural resources?
Everything that we're used to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, Viktor Frankl in Man's Search for Meaning. The one who has a why to live for can bear almost any how.
Okay. And that can be important hope work for today. And hope work is soul work.
Mm-hmm.
And as will become evident in just a few more slides, what are the twin questions in life are just and only these: the hemlock or the Kool-Aid? You may have an idea of where we're going, but that'll be coming up soon. Here's some controversy, which I'm going to make some commentary on. Religions with a more highly developed sense of the hereafter than a here now are basically atheistic. What, Mark? You heard right. The usual suspect ways of thinking of ourselves as ones with a next life are our ways of avoiding and denying God in this life, this moment, staying attached to our individual, atomized consciousness that are promised a future gets in the way of what really about, folks. And this is Mark preaching at you. What is really important is the now, the here, the this, the now, the here, the this. Now, here, this. Okay, that's what's really important here. And to abandon the now, here, this for the hereafter is bad soul work.
Mhm.
Our beliefs in survival or heaven or hell and the like are obstacles, clingy projections of the hopeless self, and are antagonistic towards authentic faith in God, whoever that is. Clinging to an everlasting time constructed hereafter, that is, everlasting life in heaven, for example, prevents an authentic eternal life here now. Everlasting is clock time, eternal life is soul time.
Hmm.
There's a big difference between everlasting and eternal, folks. So, in contrast, perhaps learn to see every moment as a possible moment to live in eternity, which is timelessness, rather than everlasting, which is just calendar time, time without end. And what we really were looking for is eternity and not everlasting. At least these are our thoughts. So, how do you take care of your soul if you have one?
If you have one,
Yeah. Okay.
we'd love to hear from you. How do you do this, or how do you not do
Well,
this?
how do you do it?
How do I take care of my soul? I try to find the good in everything.
Okay.
I try to live with intentional positivity. I've
Hmm.
said that in so many different episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to spread love,
Hmm.
but I actually try to spread the agape type.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I don't want anything in return. I just want to be
Hmm.
good, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
For me,
That's priceless.
yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I don't subscribe to I have to do this to save my soul.
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to get to that same place as you, and that is well with my Taoism, I try not to do crap. And I just like when I'm in with my mom or brother or spouse, I leave my voice behind sometimes. And not that I'm trying to retire and being nobody, but just say things are going on here that I don't need to interfere with.
Yeah. Practice Wu Wei.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to, I don't need to have my expressed opinion about every blinking thing.
Yeah.
And that's one way that I take care of souls. If I don't have 15 minutes with Tolkien every day, it's a bad day.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
I get that.
yeah. And at my age, I have three things I need to do everything. One is eat well.
Hmm.
Second is exercise well.
Hmm.
Third thing is be among people who feed me and I get to feed them. Is
Hmm.
that social interaction, unplanned social interaction.
Right.
That's why I go to work.
Yeah. I mean, and even the planned stuff for me,
Yeah.
where I'm in my career, it's crazy busy all the time.
Yeah.
But I do have planned times where, like every evening, I try to reach out to one person that means a lot to me
Hmm.
and just talk to them,
Yeah.
like you.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah. That works.
yeah.
We have two slides on the human condition. What is the human condition regarding soul and salvation? One is, are we in need of grace? We're hopelessly fallen. Are we hopelessly lost and corrupted and afflicted by evil? There is a religion for that.
No, yeah,
Okay.
and are we in need of an intervention that I can't do myself?
That's right.
Does somebody need to step in
And
and intervene for me, for my soul?
and if you're in a 12-step program, that may be your idea of who you are.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or am I just asleep and need awakening up? Okay.
Or the big question is, am I captive?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Or is the human condition ignorance?
We forget shit.
Yeah, we freaking shit all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The good shit.
yeah, we
Okay.
do.
Yeah.
As humans, we tend to spend more time on the bad shit.
Yeah. We get blinkered and blinded by our worldviews, so we
Hmm.
don't see most of what is out there.
Yep. Or blinded by shiny things, the Maserati, the
Yeah.
new,
I've never done that.
yeah,
Yeah. Or blinded by lust, something else I've never ever
no,
done.
ever. Or, I mean, blinded by ego, never once, ever in my
Okay.
life.
And
Hmm.
never been blinded by false gods like money or self or race or nation or power or anything that made an ultimate end of itself.
Because if ignorant, there'll be so much we'll never know that we'll never know, that we'll never know that we don't know, or care that we never know unless
You use critical thinking.
and don't become someone's bitch.
Yeah. So and by becoming someone's bitch, you forget to remember who you are
Hmm.
because you're born, I think, with all the goodness that you ever need in your life. And if we forget that in life, then our souls suffer if we
Hmm.
have souls.
Hmm.
That's how it works, folks. We have used this graphic before. We're going to use it from the 6 ways of being religious, and we're going to use it how to get saved from sin and ignorance. And this is where the rituals come in. So you can be saved by a sacred ritual,
Yep.
or reasoned inquiry, the mystical quest, the shamanic mediation, your devotion to your religion or to your God, and right action.
Which then leads to your ultimate reality.
Yeah. Okay. So and these are soul paths.
Hmm.
Okay. So, and everybody's going to be as different as they can be. So if there's 6 ways to be religious, there may be more ways of being soulful.
Hmm.
So don't poo-poo somebody else's idea of being soulful, but work on yourself.
Yeah, because
What
for them, it's what they need.
Yeah. And maybe you're practicing what you need,
Yep.
or maybe you need to remember who you are and then start practicing that. Just a thought. Salvation can have a broad range of meanings, and we have 2 slides on this. One, it can be atonement, forgiveness, cleansing of sins, which is Christian.
Yep. Or healing the ills of both the body and the soul, which is medicine.
And psychology,
Yep.
psyche,
Yep.
again. Or 3, liberation from the bondage of sin or the fetters of your craving, which is very Buddhist.
Yep. Or enlightenment, which we talked about earlier, by which primordial ignorance is overcome through wisdom,
Yeah.
learned knowledge. Most East Asian traditions follow this.
Yeah, your primordial ignorance is not as long-lived as your primordial wisdom.
Right.
You're born first wise, and then we practice ignorance by forgetting.
Hmm.
Or it could be a journey, crossing the waters of life suffering to find the shore and solid ground. If you read great literature, you know exactly what this is about.
Yep. Or the reversal of an upside down world or restoration of a broken reality to its original trueness.
Yeah.
Jesus and the Jew.
And not Jesus, the Christ.
Right.
Christ is what we've made of him. Jesus was who he is.
7, peace and a calm spirit. Many, many faiths have that.
Okay. Judaism and Christianity, for number 8, they help and deliver us in times of distress or oppression. Hashtag Exodus.
Right? Or 9, the refining fire to smelt away impurities of the heart. Many, many faiths do this, but like purgatory in Catholicism.
Okay. And then one that a lot of Christians love is John chapter 3, the experience of being born anew as a new person or a child of God. You're born into a new reality that you did not have before.
Mhm. So 11, the eternal life. Christianity, Islam, Judaism is the state where death has no sway.
Yeah.
It can't touch you.
And then in Hinduism, which is kind of unique, you have a union or a mystical oneness with all reality. And until you realize it, real eyes, get it?
Mhm.
Eyes that are real. Until you realize it, then you're ever going to be ignorant of who you are. Maybe there's this other dimension to what salvation means, but it's totally secular.
So when are we most alive? When are we most in touch? Or when does our adrenaline really flow? Our goosebumps appear, that hair stands up on the back of your neck.
Yeah.
When are we most telling the truth about ourselves and who we are?
I would submit that those are our soul moments.
Absolutely.
You need to pay attention to them.
Hmm.
So think a minute. Turn this off for a minute. When are you most alive? Where are you? What's happening?
Yep. Or maybe if your presidential candidate or sports team wins, you'll feel completed, you'll feel saved.
Yeah. Okay. Or maybe it's when you figure out what your one wild passion in your life is going to be. I remember when I was 25 and it happened. All of a sudden, the whole future just aligned itself. Yeah.
I've made it.
Yeah. And I was just wondering, if do such times have anything to do with soul and living authentically? Short answer is, I think
I
yes.
think so. Yeah.
But I'll leave you guys to figure that out for yourselves. Okay? We don't do your critical thinking for you. So here's that hemlock and Kool-Aid. If you are doing the hemlock, on the left-hand side, you see Socrates, who has actually chosen his death. He is his followers come to him and says, we can get you off. We can help you escape. He says, nope. This is my destiny. I'm going to drink that hemlock, and it's going to kill me. And but it killed only one person who chose it. Versus the Kool-Aid. It wasn't really Kool-Aid, but the People's Temple mass suicide in
Jonestown.
1970, Jonestown.
Yep.
If you don't know about that, go Google that one. It's pretty horrendous.
Yep.
And it's by people who gave up their critical thinking or their souls to one person to manage. And it did not turn out for any one of those people.
Nope.
So if you love critical thinking, you're going to love this slide because you don't want to be someone's bitch. You don't want to be played. Would you rather be a Pinocchio on the left-hand side, or would you like to be the person on the right who is to become self-aware, to tend to your soul? And my thesis is
the only way not to be someone's bitch is to be self-aware and unbuyable, right? And is to tend to one's soul. Like you can't convince me to do something because you want me to.
Yeah.
I have to think about it and do it.
Yeah. And here's the test, folks. Do you have a price?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a price that you will be glad to pay? In other words, you may be just a high-priced prostitute. Okay. We're all prostitutes. Some of us just have higher prices. So that's a key soul question to ask yourself daily. Am I buyable? Can someone buy me off? Ouch. Great song to listen to. I'm not going to play it here because then this YouTube would be unplayable in most countries. But you know it. You know what to do. So we're going to sum up with some critical questions on soul.
You got a soul? Or are you a soul?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you think about that? Because got a soul means it's something that's
in us.
No. Well.
No.
Yeah. That you've acquired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're not born with it. You're acquiring it. Or are you a soul from first to last? There's a difference.
Right.
So how do you know you got a soul? How would you convince someone that they have one or not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Mark here, who's skeptical whether we have souls or not. How would you convince me that we do have a soul?
What would a science major in college say about that versus, let's say, a music major?
Yeah.
Or a philosophy major?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. How would you not become? How do you not become someone's bitch?
Mm-hmm. What are some really good ways to take care of one's soul, to take care of your soul, to nurture it? What are good ways to do that?
Yeah. This is something we need to think more about today.
Mm-hmm.
And what are some good ways to actually damage your soul?
Right.
Yeah. We've all got those habits.
Do you know anybody who is a great soul? Somebody that you think of and you're like, wow,
Yeah.
they are. And why this name?
Yeah. And Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah.
Mahatma means great soul.
Great soul.
Yeah. So does your soul survive your death? You got evidence?
Does your soul getting saved have anything to do with your body? And how's that work?
Yeah. Okay. Does your body get saved or
Right.
just your soul? And if your body doesn't get saved, then what's that religion all about anyway?
It's true.
So next time we're going to have what is spirituality? Not examples of spirituality to do with soul, because that's going to come the one after this next one. So what is spirituality in the first place?
We look at it from 30,000 feet.
Okay. And then after that, we'll go down to 30 feet and see what it looks like up close. All right. So thanks for being here. If you feel this class might be helpful or interesting to your friends, please let them know.
If you have questions, concerns, criticisms, you just want to bitch, or you want to tell us how great we are, email Mark. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes. And thanks very much for being with us today. Thanks for being with me.
Yeah, Mark, I appreciate it. I'm Chandler.
I'm Mark.
We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.